I remembered I saw Blue Sky had a thing to share when you were live, and I was going to do that, and I forgot. Let's do that now. There we go. Going to be live for a bit. Okay, let's see if that does anything. Wow, 4 viewers is almost a record number. Okay, anyway, we're back. Yes, the problem is resolved. There was a problem earlier in the day which caused something that then alerted me now, hours after the fact. But it is all fixed. And we're back and ready to be Lichy again. Okay, so I did realize something while I was offline though. So obviously I have a camera, pointing like down at the desk, and the monitor, like the arm holding the camera, is right between my eyes and the rulebook PDF. So I was kind of like ducking down and lifting my head up to see around it to read the PDF, but it's right there on the stream, right in front of me. I don't need to do desk gymnastics to read it. So maybe the break was good in that way. Anyway, okay, we've got our Lich. Where were we? We had drawn this card, which is a narrative event, and what we decided this meant was that we had found a group of like weird, isolated, devolved, strange people in the middle of nowhere who worship some sort of. It says an artificial consciousness trapped in a strange machine, but that doesn't really fit the setting I'm going for. So some sort of spirit or something. That they're worshipping something that's definitely not a god. But we learn something from them, something that we keep to ourselves, and we will use that to our advantage if we can in the future. So that was our first card. For our next one, is my deck of cards upside down? It is. We have another narrative event, the Sun. Let's look at our tarot cards. The Sun. Joy is not frivolous; it's essential. The sun is radiant, alive, and totally unbothered by your self-doubts. This card radiates optimism, vitality, and, yes, permission to be happy. Bask in it. You deserve this. I feel tarot.com isn't quite the same tone as an evil wizard trying to become a lich, but maybe maybe our lich just enjoys the little things like sacrificing orphans for arcane power. That sounds about right. A 6 of hearts. What is a 6? 6 is scheming, information. So this is mundane. But I can't remember if it's good, if it's like something nice or something bad. A 6 of hearts. So your constant scheming against the bickering noble houses and numerous spies infiltrated in their own households finally provides results you can use. So reminder, we are in the capital city of this empire, which is at the time like the place to be. It's the major civilization of the time. So it makes sense there's lots of scheming nobles around. Yes, my deck is not half randomly reversed. All the cards are in the same order. Ooh, more tarot cards readings. Let's have a look. Let's see what this says about the sun. Yep, there's a lot more words here. Brilliant, radiant, sparkling. So many of our words reflect, exclamation mark, the power and glory of light. Okay, so our constant scheming has provided results, so we keep this card and we shall spend it later. So the way these 6s work is if I were to use this, I could roll 2d6s. Let's just go through an example. So I rolled a 5 and a 4, so that means I turn over 9 cards from the deck. I won't do it because I'm not actually turning them over. But the lower number, the 4, this is the certain future. So these cards are going to remain on top of the deck. And the larger number, the 5, this is the uncertain future. We will shuffle these into the deck. we can swap one card between the certain future and the uncertain future. So if there was like an ace in here and a king in here, we wouldn't want the king, so we would swap the ace, bringing the ace into the certain future, moving the king into the uncertain future, and then shuffling the uncertain future into the deck. But I'm not going to do that now because I have to pay a price to use these cards, so I'll put the deck back as it was. And we can pay for 6s with another 6 if we have one. We can spend a Doom. We don't want to do that. We can spend a Resolve. That might be okay because Resolve can recover. Or we can discard an Influence, which is a Queen. So I think we just want to hold on to this for now. We are aware that our scheming has paid dividends, but we will see the results of that in the future. Or I suppose it will pay dividends in the future when we use the card. Next we have the Moon. Let's use learntarot.com for this. Moon. They like exclamation marks in these card descriptions. Have you ever lost the familiar to find in its place a world so extraordinary you can't even grasp it? This is the experience of the Moon. Let's see what tarot.com says. The Moon stirs shadows, uncertainty, confusion, and dream logic. It's a call to feel your way forward, not think your way out. Okay, so it's about uncertainty, I guess following on from the certainty of the sun we had previously. Maybe our Lich spends a year in fruitless research. He's trying to capitalize on his discovery of the artificial god the strange people in the middle of nowhere are worshipping, but there doesn't seem to be anything there that he can use. Oh, getting a lot of tarot cards. The Star. Maybe having like basically a third of the deck be tarot cards was a mistake. We'll see. In fact, yes, that's kind of boring to have multiple tarot cards. I'll just skip over multiple tarot cards. Oh, okay, right, we have a page. So I said pages are going to be kind of like weak versions of jacks. So let's look at the Jack of Spades. I really wish this PDF had hyperlinks. Okay, the Jack of Spades is a curious companion that will follow you on your ambitious quest. This is an arcane card. Their skills will be useful in the arcane world of vengeful gods and foul demons you need to navigate before transcending to Lichdom. Do not get too attached, they are disposable after all. So, pages, I said I could discard this to gain a +1 on a challenge, so it's kind of doing a subset of what jacks do. So, what's their name? I've put the Nomicon all the way on my desk. Right, well, let's just roll for what sort of character this is and what's special about them. So they are an undead sorcerer from a time before the Cataclysm, which was a great flood, if you recall, devoid of most memories and powers. And what's special about them is they can bring me knowledge that I thought was lost forever, which seems very, very fitting for an antediluvian sorcerer. Guess I've got like an Egyptian-style name. I can roll up names for these people later if they're going to be useful characters. Probably not, because this is a page. They're a really minor character. I think they just look like a rotting corpse. And I probably accidentally unearthed them. And as for why they ally with me, I think I magically compel them to do so. So here we go. Antediluvian zombie. And now we have a 10 of clubs. The 10s they're not challenges, they're curses. Okay. So we'll hold on to this as well, and this will apply a -2 modifier to the next arcane challenge we get. I guess we'll look it up when we get an arcane challenge, what exactly this curse is. We have a 2 of spades, which is another narrative event. So we signed a contract with a demon in exchange for wondrous knowledge and dark favors. The demon refuses to reveal the higher secrets of reality, because he's a dick, I guess, but is willing to whisper minor truths that could make me a wolf among sheep. But do not mistake the mild interest of your demonic patron for admiration or recognition, as all mortals are nothing but fleeting candles of consciousness in the eternal darkness of creation. Not me, though. I'm going to be a lich. I will be one of those... I I won't be a fleeting candle. I will be a really long candle that burns for a very long time till a hero puts me out. I think we probably learned about this demon's nature. We probably found them in some horrible ancient book, maybe brought to us by our antediluvian sorcerer ghoul slave. And the terrible cost is... we actually roll for that. What does the demon ask in return? 4. That is a 1. The firstborn of a new family willingly offered by the mother. Okay, so a card represents kind of a year passing, so I think I contact this demon and it names its price, and sorry, I just had to cough. I think my character, because he is like a slightly weird but powerful and influential member of court, I think he uses his position to kind of impose upon a family, like a lesser family from a lower social class, and he uses a combination of his magical wiles and just social pressure to have the family agree to this deal. Maybe he offers them something they could never get otherwise, like enough money to leave servanthood behind and almost become minor nobles in their own right. And what I want to know from this demon is, well, I want to know about the secrets of reality. It's not willing to share them, I guess, but that's what I want to know. Maybe it will reveal some lesser arcane secrets in exchange for a firstborn child. Maybe the cost for the true arcane secrets was too high to pay. We have another scheming card. So we can sacrifice this to look at the top of the deck. So I'm going to do that. Let's go to the 6 of clubs and see what happens. See what this is. Clubs are before spades, weren't they? Yes. It's a good scrying image. Just me pondering the orb. All right. By extensive and careful research in ancient tomes of sorcery, reading the shapes revealed in the smoke of a sacrifice, making abhorrent deals in the dark with powerful demons, or by any other unfathomable arcane means, you're able to discern your destiny from the entanglement of multiple realities other mortals call futures. So I sacrifice this 6 to use this one. So I now have knowledge that makes allies seek my favor and enemies despair in fear of my vengeance. And I get to look at the top few cards of the deck. So we have 2 cards for the certain future. We have another scrying card and the Fool. And then for the uncertain future, let's just move my discard pile. Discard pile doesn't need to be on screen, I guess. The uncertain future, we have the Hierophant, the Wheel of Fortune, a 7, which is that's the first, the lowest numbered adversity card, and another page. I'd quite like another page. We can sacrifice them to get a bonus on challenges. So I'm going to swap the page and the Fool cards. So these go back on top of the deck, and these ones get shuffled into the deck. So let's do that. Slot these in at different points, then I'll shuffle it. Oops. Okay, there's our deck, and we'll put our certain future on top. So the next card we turn over is, by God, it is a page. A page of clubs. So a kind of weaker version of the Jack of clubs. Who is... an alchemist that achieved the transformation of lead into gold once in the past, but the secret was stolen from his mind by a dream thief. Since this is a page, I think it's probably the assistant of the alchemist, who is trying to pass himself off as a great alchemist. And he was driven mad by a previous experience. Maybe he was experimented upon by the alchemist. So this person is some sort of groveling wretch who we have recruited to our cause in the hope of extracting the alchemical secrets of their master from them. And we have our next scrying card, so I will hold on to that as well. Stack kind of similar cards. There we go. Okay, we do still have this 10, which will be a penalty to the next arcane challenge we get, but we've not had an arcane challenge so far. Now we have the High Priestess. I'm not even going to look up the meaning. I think this is just like religious conflict with the like religious authorities in the city. They don't like what we're doing, but we are able to use our position at court to essentially bat them aside. But I've marked them for vengeance. 5 of Hearts, another narrative event. So we've not had any challenges or catastrophes yet, which is good, but I want the bad stuff to happen for my Lich Sorcerer. We've also not found any aces yet, but we're not very far into the deck. An ancient noble house seeks our aid in desperation. Their gods and medicine have failed them, and they're now willing to make a pact with darkness to survive. Not all the arrogant rulers of the masses are your allies, but this opportunity is perfect to advance your agenda or slight a common enemy. So what disaster afflicts this noble house? A disease of the blood that rots the body and life while the mind is trapped forever. I think that I want to know how to inflict this upon people, so that's why I provide help. I'm going to study this disease and try to cultivate it so that I can apply it on my enemies in the future. And what I claim in return... Honestly, I think being able to inflict a horrible rotting blood disease upon people is a pretty good prize, so... But I can't just help them apparently have the goodness of my heart. That made me look weak and not scary, so... I think I demand some sort of heirloom, some like symbol of their house, like an heirloom weapon or something. It's been passed down through generations. And I use magics to extract the disease from their blood, and I now have a flask of body-rotting blood disease. Who inflicts this bane upon them? So we have an enemy, but we have an enemy sorcerer from our backstory, but they're our enemy because they disagreed with us about morality, so they're probably good. So it's probably not them. I think it's a rival sorcerer, probably. But not the one from our backstory, a new rival sorcerer. Okay. Hanged Man. I think the tarot cards were cool, but I feel there's actually maybe too many of them in a standard deck of cards. Use a different perspective. I think we have a brief stint being quite devoutly religious. I think there are stories of saints and so on who have been granted great powers. They've been healed from injuries, and we are wondering, demons have not told us secrets so far. We've met one demon and they've only told us a minor secret. Maybe the gods are an alternative route, but I feel it's probably not going to work out. Let's skip over repeated tarot cards. So we have a king. This is a calamity. This is really bad. It's an arcane calamity. So the way these work is we resolve whatever the card says, and then we shuffle this back into the deck. And if we get 2 arcane calamities in a row, something really bad, catastrophe, not calamity, something really bad happens, and the world comes to an end. So, rules-wise, we can discard a companion. We don't have a companion. We only have pages. So we can't neutralize this catastrophe. So we have to increase our doom by 1, which I will do by flipping over this card to the black side. We decrease our resolve by 1, so we lost 1. We were at 4 resolve. We've lost 1 resolve by increasing our doom, as our max resolve is 4 minus our doom. But we also lose 1 resolve, so let's just turn this on its side. So we're down from 4 resolve to 2 because of this catastrophe. But what does it mean? What happens? A terrible, unnatural event shakes the world, or baleful arcane powers are directed towards you. And we have a thing to roll on to see how we changed. You read a description of reality that shatters your understanding of it and drives you mad. Very, very Lovecraft. Where do you read it? An ancient tome bound in human skin. That's always a classic. So yes, I suppose I did cause this catastrophe, and yeah, it is just what social media is. It's what you get from pondering the orb too much. It's like when Denethor was staring into the plant here. Kids don't have orb discipline these days. So, what did it cost me? It cost me. Maybe I thought I was making good progress. I've not hit upon a fundamental truth of reality just yet, but I thought I was kind of getting close. And this description of how the world actually works has just made me realize I was a fool. I was on completely the wrong track. It's very, very disheartening, in addition to invalidating all of my research. So this gets shuffled back into the deck. I suppose it might eventually be all kings, but so the way you become a lich is by finding aces and then rolling some dice based on the aces. A number of dice equals to the number of aces you've got, and with some modifiers based on other cards you've got. So there wouldn't be any point continuing if there was only 4 cards left, because at that point I would have all the aces and all the bonuses. Let's have one combined discard pile over here. An ace. The catastrophe was bad, but it opened our mind to the truth. We have discovered a fundamental truth of reality. A truth of all realities that gives you power over death and places you above all other mortals, giving you a chance at immortality. Yes. Yes! I learn it in the dreams of a slumbering serpent god within the tomb of a sorcerer king of aeons past. Maybe my antediluvian zombie friend was able to point me in this direction. He's shown his worth. And what it does, what it is the unused wish that was conceded to by the first god to the first sorcerer when time was young. This is a very powerful thing. I can use this to maybe contain my soul within my body upon death by speaking the words of the wish at just the right moment. So an ace, we need at least one other ace. We need a mundane ace, so a heart or a diamond. We're not going to do that as soon as we get it because we wouldn't have a good chance of succeeding. But what the ace passively does is it gives us a +1 to all challenges of the same nature. So for all arcane challenges, we'll have a +1. And on our next arcane challenge, we'll have a -2 because of this 10. So -1 on our next challenge. Oh my god, another ace. The ace of diamonds. I have you as my witnesses. The deck was actually shuffled. I'm not good enough at fixing decks of cards to make it look shuffled, but not be. Okay. A truth of this world that gives you power over death and places you above all other mortals, giving you a chance at immortality. Where do I find it, and what is it? And because this lich we're rolling up is, or drawing up, I guess, is going to be the big bad for the next campaign, I guess the details of the truths I've rolled will kind of exist in the setting as like world building elements or powers of the Lich. Which will be neat. Okay, we found it in the ancient. It was revealed by the ancient traditions and legends of a disappearing tribe who had to submit them to your will to reveal their secrets. Maybe the. I know what this is. This is the 3, the very first card we turned over. We found some weird people worshipping some sort of artificial god. I think we've realized from our years of study that there's something more to these guys than meets the eye, and in their legends, we learned this truth. And what it is that elder trees never die, so maybe they worship some sort of tree god. Their roots extend below ground and control the undying cycle of nature. You learn the reason for their eternal existence, or find a way to merge your body into the immortal tree. Interesting. So, we have the wish left over from the first sorcerer, and we know that there are certain trees that live for all time. So maybe our path to Lichdom will be turning ourselves into a tree. I can see that. There's a tree god in one of the Black Company novels. It's kind of a extra dimensional entity that came from somewhere else and is just a large tree. It doesn't move. It's a tree. Okay, a 5. That's a narrative event. A 5 of spades. Clubs, rather. I always get spades and clubs mixed up. Your thirst for arcane knowledge leads you to stealing a cursed tome of lore. A cursed tome of lore from an obscure cult. The secret meaning of ancient runes or the ancient wisdom of disappearing culture. You had to lie, kill, and threaten to get it, perhaps even destroying the original owners or condemning them to a fate worse than death. I think I condemned them to a fate worse than death. I didn't have to, I just chose to. And it is the first words spoken by the raven to the last woman in the first day after the cataclysm. So the cataclysm being the Great Flood in the history of our world, which is actually very fitting with the mythology I'm thinking of for the next campaign. A Great Flood fits very well. Okay, so in the Great Flood, there was presumably a man with a giant boat. That's how these things tend to go. And when the flood was receding, he released, or maybe she, maybe a woman was the captain of the ark, released a raven and various other birds. And the raven came back and said something, and that is what we have learned. I think it makes sense that we got this. I feel like I'm really depending on my antediluvian zombie friend, but I feel it makes sense that we got it from him. Or he led us to this knowledge in some way. He's a pretty good minion, I feel. And what did... Oh, that's what I stole. The first words. Maybe the echoes of the first words had been preserved in like a special holy place. And we went in and heard them, but there's destroyed the echoes. Now they only exist in my mind. Hang on. I feel like I think drawing a truth might actually give us hope back. Let's consult the book. So the character sheet has like a summary of the rules, but it's not actually got all the details. Truths. No, they don't give you resolve when you find them. I had a feeling there was a card that gave you resolve when you drew it, but maybe I was just imagining that. Yep. Okay. Can't get a free point of resolve from that. Okay, we have heard these words. Presumably the words for something other than "there's dry land." Powerful words. We have a 2 of hearts. And this is a mundane event, so the greed of merchants doesn't know limits, and this particular guild pushed a little too far by making demands of someone such as yourself who delves in magic and secrets that would shatter their minds. They do have something that I need. What are they offering? The journal of one of the reclusive members of the Black Circle, containing unknown rituals and spells to summon demons and rot living flesh. I mean, it's obviously unacceptable for these guys not to just hand it over to someone like me, the mighty court sorcerer who people avoid and who probably smells of blood and dead things at this point. I think they're merchants. They probably just ask for a lot of money, like several times what would be a reasonable price, but I need it, so I do pay them. But I think I probably silence them. If these merchants are capable of getting their hands upon magical spellbooks and such, I probably don't want to kill them. But I think I do take magic measures to silence them. Maybe I put a curse upon them so they can't speak of this. Like they try to speak and their mouth just shuts. They'll know not to mess with. I forgot what my character was called. Asked or something. They'll know not to mess with Asked again. The Devil. I quite like the upbeat descriptions on tarot.com over the maybe better descriptions on learntarot.com, just because of the tonal clash with being an evil wizard. So imagining this like robed, imposing figure going into like a fortune teller's tent, and she like dramatically turns over the devil card and says, looks up at him and smiles and says, "You know that thing you think is holding you back? It probably isn't. You just need to change your perspective. Beware of addiction, fear, shame, or patterns you've mistaken for personality. The devil doesn't trap you, young asked for evil. You trap yourself. But hey, now that you see the chains, what are you going to do about them? It's a question of freedom and how much you want it. Well, we know that my guy wants freedom more than anything. Freedom from death specifically. So he maybe has a bit of a maybe starts to delve into divination a little. I mean, there's more fundamental truths of reality to find. Okay, an 8. This is a challenge, so it is a mundane challenge, so we do not get the -2 from this arcane plot. We do get the +1 from this mundane truth. So we want to roll 2d6 and +1 and get at least an 8. But let's see what is the challenge. What happens? So this is mundane. After many weeks of careful planning, bribes, lies, threats, and possibly murder, you become the leader of a cult. This fits in with my religious phase from earlier. Your followers do your bidding with limited efficacy, but their unquestionable loyalty makes up for their lack of wits. And who had to die? I think I've taken over like a minor temple in the city, so probably the previous like priest or priestess had to die, and I've probably began twisting the beliefs before formally seizing power, and seized power when things seemed certain. So what is the axiom and how do I... Oh. Yeah. The axiom of the cult is that the all-knowing leader will save the cult from the upcoming cataclysm. That's great. That's a good way to get minions. And I end up in charge. The cult forms around you almost by chance. So, okay, maybe I do take over one of the temples in, like a minor temple in the city, but the way I twist it is that the people there believe that I am actually an emissary of their god, and it kind of escalates from there. Um, how is this a challenge? Like it sounds good. Oh, I guess the challenge is becoming leader of the cult. Right, yes, that makes sense. So this plan is still in the works at this point. So I need to roll 2d6 plus 1 and get an 8 or higher to actually pull it off. That is an 8. So yes, it happens just as I described. Next we have a 3 of spades. Clubs. I'll get clubs and spades the right way around eventually. It's like east and west. They're just confusing for some reason. You discover the remains of an ancient civilization, impossibly old and incredibly beautiful. They were masters of such wonders that it makes you question the worth of your own achievements. But only briefly. Silence besets the abandoned place. No doubt these fallen jade statues and sundered, colourful temples were once witness to wondrous and horrifying events, now lost to recorded history. Perhaps their fall is for the best. But who were they? They were a cruel culture that built cyclopean monuments to their defunct emperors and practiced necromancy. So I think I delve deep into these ruins, trying to uncover tomes of forgotten and forbidden lore. But ultimately, there's nothing I can really take from this place. It's been picked over by adventurers already. So there's just giant statues and other things that are kind of too large or too difficult to move, because what sort of crazy person would try to take a statue from a dungeon? Another fundamental truth of reality. The Ace of Spades, the best truth of reality. What cool picture do we have here? A nice hand with arcane tattoos. All right, where do we find this truth and what is it? So we've got 3 cards now, so we would be rolling 3d6, but with no modifiers, and we'd want to get a 12 or higher. So not great, but not awful. Anyway, let's learn the details of this truth. Flesh out some more setting details of our world. I found it in a dream quest, a ritual that allowed my soul to travel to other planes. So I've already said there aren't other planes in this world. Maybe maybe I can just directly travel into like other people's minds and stuff. Anyway, I learned from the experience of many lives across disparate existences. Okay. I know what this is. This is in one of the Elric stories by Michael Moorcock. It's revealed that the emperors of Melniboné are trained by being like strapped into a dream quest machine that makes them live out thousands of years in across the various planes of reality to prepare themselves for rulership. So that's what this is. But anyway, I think I'm kind of walking through people's minds, and it's such an immersive experience. I truly become them for a while. Like I'm unaware that I'm a sorcerer. I'm reading someone's memories. I feel as if I am that person, and so it's living the experiences of all the of like people in the city and from further afield that teaches me how to copy my consciousness into several gems, perfectly synchronized by my governing soul, which is merged into the brains of an indestructible machine. Okay, well, we've got another truth about immortal trees. So maybe I copy my consciousness into several gems. That still works. But my governing soul is merged into this like eternal tree thing. So I guess what that means is, although my soul is trapped in one place, it's in this special immortal tree, I can still go out in the world by like giving my consciousness gems to things. Like maybe I can possess living creatures that hold on to them, or I can like embed them in constructs and so on. Okay, so that's pretty good. Definitely good having 3 truths. Let's just look at the bonuses. See what exactly we need to Actually, I think it's on the character sheet. So, uh, okay, it doesn't actually say on here. So let's. Okay, so we do have a table of contents here, but the PDF itself doesn't have hyperlinks, which is a bit of a pain for jumping around. Okay, so if we were to try to become a Lich now, we'd be rolling 3d6. We do not have any companions or influence, so we don't have any jacks or queens. And we have 2 resolves. So we'd be rolling 3d6 plus 2, and we want to get a 12 or higher. So I kind of want to have some jacks and queens before trying to become a Lich, because they will make us more likely to succeed. So I'm going to push on. We have another narrative event, a 3 of diamonds. The vile abomination I created escaped from its foul pit of death. It killed and consumed many of my servants in a rampage of hate, blood, and desperation. It was amusing at first, but you had to finally kill it before it wreaked havoc beyond repair. The experiment can be considered a failure, as the creature could not be controlled reliably to do your bidding. Maybe I was trying to control it with a consciousness gem. But at least you gained a wealth of non-sorceress knowledge on the inner workings of several species, alchemical concoctions, and surgery. So I tried to do a Frankenstein. And the reason I created it was to clone key powerful figures that I planned on supplanting by my mind-controlled puppets. Okay, so there was just a naked copy of the king running around with one of my consciousness gems embedded in his skull, that I couldn't quite fully control, and he wasn't really fully human because I didn't see fit to make a full brain or anything. So it's kind of this man-shaped insane monkey on a rampage. And I think the reason that it was difficult to contain was because, firstly, it was a surprise. It's just a monkey, violent monkey running around, really. But also maybe the guards and stuff hesitated because it looked like the king, and so even though they knew it wasn't really him, the moment of hesitation was enough for it to eat their face. But eventually, it fell with many crossbow bolts inside it. And I think because I can make multiple consciousness gems, this is just one experiment of many, but it's probably forced me to revisit the approach. We have a challenge, and this is an arcane challenge, so this is actually an 11 rather than a 9. But we'll get a +2 from our 2 arcane truths, so these actually cancel out, so it is overall a 9. And I could sacrifice these to get a bonus on it. I think I'm going to sacrifice... I can't remember which is which. One of them was my antediluvian zombie slave, and I can't even remember who the other guy was. So I'm going to sacrifice the other guy, since he didn't leave a big mental impact. Clearly not a good minion, so I'm going to sacrifice this guy. Let's get a further +1 on the roll. So I'm going to roll 2d6, +1, +2, -2 to get 9 or higher. But let's see what this is. So this is an arcane challenge. The 9 of clubs. Your research of forgotten arts takes you to create an alchemical concoction that attracts death. Yourself or someone close to you is gravely injured. I think it's my slave that I sacrificed. The foul smell of the potion was a clear warning of danger, but no reward comes without risk, and you had to try its effects. What was the most difficult ingredient to obtain, and why? ground up dragon scale. Self-explanatory why it was difficult to obtain. And what were the expected effects? It was supposed to bring the dead from their rotting sleep. So maybe not a powdered dragon scale. Phoenix egg. There we go. It's a potion that relies heavily on scrambled phoenix eggs. It's supposed to bring the dead from their rotting sleep. But instead, it made zombies. The subject grows an insatiable hunger for human flesh that goes beyond any other desire. And my minion, whose name I do not recall, or any qualities about him, died trying to defend me, as he should. I'm his master, but I need to roll to see if I overcome this. 2d6 plus 1 versus 9. Nope, that is an 8. So I failed to overcome this. Maybe I was maybe my servant was also turned into a zombie, and he got a good bite on me before I could put him down with magic. So I have failed an adversity event, so I decrease one resolve. So I'm down to 1 resolve. If it hits 0, that is game over. Okay. We have the lovers. I meet an evil sorceress. We understand each other. And I show her the world. Okay. An event, a 4. You are trapped and lost for many days. Maybe I was abandoned on my honeymoon by my evil sorceress wife. In a forsaken and dangerous dungeon below the ruins of an ancient city. We were on a romantic honeymoon to find zombies. You came looking for an artifact older than the Cataclysm, but you only found corruption and death instead. The darkness itself seems to whisper warnings, and furtive red eyes observe all your movements with malevolent intent. You are not welcome here. And I'm threatened by an aggressive race of albino ape men, worshippers of forgotten dark gods, to eat all trespassers while keeping them alive with unnatural drugs. I probably came here looking for these unnatural drugs, something that can preserve life even as someone is eaten alive, like remaining alive, awake, conscious through that. It's obviously some sort of powerful stimulant that would be useful to have. And who died? It was my sorceress wife. I, without hesitating at all, sacrificed her so that I could escape. A 7, that is a mundane challenge. Back in this direction. 7 of hearts. Here we go. Dream thieves, a rare but mundane threat. Mundane. Perpetuated by unique and extraordinary mortals, infiltrate into your dreams to steal a precious memory. They face the terrible shadows of your mind and horrors lurking in your unconscious thoughts. Who sent them against you? Probably the merchants who I, magically cursed to ensure their silence earlier. And who is the dream thief, and what challenges do I present? It is like that film. Also, the dream thief is Un, who is actually a dream thief in an Elric story. Obviously, a lot of Elric inspiration in this. Un, a lonely adventurer in search of a secret city. And what challenges I present is a city of crystal and dangerous creatures frozen in time until approached by an intruder. The memory can be seen as seen in a bottomless pool at the center of the city. So, I think The memory she's trying to steal, that the merchants have hired her to steal, is the secret to undo the curse of silence I've put upon them, so that they can reveal the horrible, blasphemous tome I've purchased and cause me harm in some way. So I only have one resolve. If I fail this, it's going to be game over. But I need to roll a 7 on 2d6, which is, that's kind of okay. And I have a mundane truth, so I get a +1. So 2d6 +1 to roll to get 7 or more. Yep, perfect. It's fine. Un is makes her way through this crystal city, but she is overcome by the defenses, and her mind ripped asunder inside my dream palace. And I passed a challenge, so I gain a resolve. Let's keep going. Another plot thing. So the next arcane challenge I get will have a penalty of 2. But I'll have a +2 from these, and I can sacrifice this guy for another +1. I kind of want to do some scrying, but I've not drawn another 6. Also, where are all the jacks and queens in this deck? Another minion. Which minion have we got? So the jack would be a some sort of powerful mortal companion, an assassin. So the page is not so much an assassin, maybe just like a common murderer. He's not good enough to be an assassin, not cultured enough to be an assassin, but he'll stab someone if you tell him to. Four of diamonds. The bloodthirsty heir of an old ruling dynasty has come to power by treachery and murder, and you helped or failed to prevent it. I probably I think I probably helped this. Maybe I felt that I could get this person in my debt. Discontent spreads and the revolution is imminent, but the iron fist of the new ruler keeps the population in check with ruthless practices and well-paid mercenaries, while the coffers of the kingdom are wasted in bribes and steel. Okay, so I think I helped this because I felt I could get this person in my debts, and also I've been an evil sorcerer for quite a while now. Now, each card represents, it says like each card represents a year, or roughly a year, but that'd be quite a long time. So maybe some of these are closer than others, but still, I've been doing this evil sorcerer thing for some years now. I probably look like a corpse at this point. I've been like preserving myself with medicines and such like, and the previous ruler is starting to have doubts about me. I've been a good court sorcerer for a while, but he's starting to have doubts, so I felt he needed to be replaced. And I will use my magical wiles to help the new guy stay in power. Oh no, this is terrible. We have another plot. So now I have an arcane plot and a mundane plot working against us. And we have an arcane challenge. Another 9. Okay. What is this challenge? You find an entrance to the plane of existence containing the unused material of unborn creations. Your mind shapes everything around you so your consciousness can endure the journey. Many souls have come to fail here, their ambition quenched by the sight of their dreams and passions. Their mind now trapped forever in a nightmare of melancholy, grim spirits in the void beyond reality. Okay. Right, so we have a -2 from this 10 and a +2 from these aces. I'm gonna sacrifice. I'm sorry, antediluvian zombie. It is time to sacrifice you. So that I'll get a +1 on this roll. So 2d6 +1 versus 9. Okay, we did it, and this 10 goes away, and so does this 9. So what happened was, how did we enter this place? The place of unused, unborn creations. We passed through an ephemeral portal opened by a grim ritual learned from the infamous Book of Skelos. Maybe that is an artifact we could find in the upcoming Friday campaign. And what challenged me is the hateful spirit of an old enemy. It seeks my eternal doom, so I magically wrestle with this spirit, and I think maybe my antediluvian friend, not friend, friend is a strong word, antediluvian slave, because he is so ancient, because his spirit has endured the world for so long, he's especially powerful against my enemy, who is relatively young in comparison. So he's able to sacrifice himself to not just drive off my enemy, but utterly destroy him. However, my poor zombie slave, his soul is trapped in the void beyond reality. Let's hope that doesn't come back to bite us. Uh-oh. It's a king. An arcane catastrophe. Terrible unnatural event shakes the world. Did I cause it? 4. The Blood Moon, an unpredictable event that rarely happens. All those attuned to the arcane suffer terrible pain that can leave them mad. Okay, I guess you can't really avoid the Blood Moon, it just happens when it happens. So I think you can probably predict that it's going to happen, but you can't really avoid it, you can just prepare. So I just hunker down and try to endure it, bleeding from my ears and eyes, and trying not to go mad in the process. So that is a doom and lose a resolve. So our max resolve is only 2 now, and this is shuffled back into the deck. Can't believe I've not had any jacks or queens yet. Come on, I need those to become a lich. Oh, I don't need them, but it helps. Four of Spades. You dream of a glimmering city that exists in many realities. It's Tanalorn. Somehow you know it's not just a dream, but a real place, of which you can only find obscure references in fading and crumbling scrolls that do not make much sense to your limited mortal mind. Perhaps if you find a way to access the marvelous City of Wonders, many of your questions about the nature of the cosmos and many entities that populate it would be answered. I think we probably obsess over this because this seems a good place to find the last fundamental truth of reality. You know, a city that exists in all realities. It is a fortress, the center of all realities, constructed by an alien civilization that once dominated all places. That is the perfect location to have the fourth fundamental truth of reality. And I cannot find the entrance in my reality because I think it is both hidden and defended. So it's not enough to find it, you've got to overcome the defense to actually get into this place. But it is incredibly well hidden. I have not read, it's a webcomic, right? I've not read Kill 6 Billion Demons. But yeah, it's a good, it's like a common enough trope. Yeah. I will check it out then. But yes, also a very Elric thing. Tanalorn is the city that exists in all planes of existence in Michael Moorcock's stuff. Okay, I think the entrance is like hidden somewhere. Maybe even like as small as a leaf from a particular tree. If you like hold the leaf, you can step through it into this place somehow. So the entrance could be hidden anywhere. We have another test, adversity, and we have our 10. And we're going to sacrifice our page. And we have this, so that would be, so if we sacrifice this guy, who is our alchemist's apprentice, not alchemist's apprentice, that was our last arcane guy. This is our murderer friend. We're going to sacrifice our murderer friend, and we get a +1 from this, which will cancel out the -2 from this. So, we have to roll 2d6 and equal or beat 9. This could be the end. I think if it does turn out to be, because I've only got one resolve left, I think if it does turn out to be the end, I'll just say, okay, we have to try to roll to become a lich now. Like, we're unable to press on anymore. What does the book actually say happens when you run out of resolve? Is it just game over? Yes, you lose the game when you reach 0 resolve. Because I need a bad guy for my next campaign, I will instead say that I can't bear to press on any longer and will immediately attempt to become a lich. But we need to see what the card is. The nine of hearts. A famous philosopher, reputable merchant, or powerful noble tries to humiliate you or instigate others against you. You must stop them before the profanation causes real damage. Okay. Let's see what happens. That is not 9. Okay. What are the accusations leveled against us that causes us to immediately try to become a lich? We are accused of unleashing destructive storms, long blizzards, and decimating droughts with my vile sorcery. And I think I see an angry mob approaching my tower. They're like, yeah, this guy's been around for like 50 years and things have been terrible the whole time. There are flaming torches and pitchforks. Not flaming pitchforks, that would be rather odd. And I'm like, right, it's now or never. I've got to... Like, there's too many of them for me to blast with my sorcery. I only get 2 fireball slots a day. I'm a Vancian wizard. The only way I can hope to escape this is by immediately enacting this ritual I've been working on and, like, transplanting my soul from my body into this immortal tree I found, like, 500 miles away. So, I don't have any companions or influence, so I just have to roll 3d6, and then we shall consult the Lich table. That's a really bad result. That's a 7. That's not going to do it. Result of... Oh, we add 1 for our resolve, which gets us to an 8, but that's still the same category. Results of 5 to 8. You become a wraith, a half-ethereal horror beyond the comprehension of other mortals. You will inevitably lose your mind and sanity in the many years ahead, haunting your lair, becoming only a monster with no other ambitions beside consuming human souls, a beast far removed from your goal of power. Okay, that's what happens to us. That's a pretty suitable big bad for a campaign. And I'm going to consult this deck to see where are all the jacks and queens. Okay, that would have been fairly bad. There's a queen. There's a jack. That's another catastrophe, which would have also ended the game, I guess, because we'd have run out of resolve. Jack. They're all hiding down here towards the end of the deck. Where's our last ace? There's our last ace. Okay. Well, we did okay. We've become a horrible thing, which is really all that's required, since the point of this was to roll up the big bad for the next campaign. So let's adjust the PDFs. One moment. Excuse the jank. Right, Lichdom goes away. Behold, a slightly different aspect ratio view of a PDF. Behold, the Legend in the Mist core rulebook, which This is going to be the system for the next campaign, starting on Friday next week. So, Legend in the Mist is a rustic fantasy game, as it says. It feels kind of Ghibli-ish, I guess, in aesthetic, if not in like what sort of stories happen. Maybe it feels kind of Howl's Moving Castle, maybe more of the Diana Wynne Jones book than the Ghibli film. And I guess I'll go into details about the system next time. But it's got some really nice art. It comes with a comic to learn the rules, which is really cool. The way it works is it's a tag-based system, so you're rolling dice and adding these tags, which are like highlighted in yellow here. Your character has, let's skim the table of contents. Your character will have 4 themes, which have a collection of tags associated with them, and also a quest. These themes will change over time as you either like follow your quests or abandon your quests. And it just seems like a really neat system that's not too complicated to run, and it has a very nice set of solo rules. So this cool art of the Oracle, which I've been skimming through these solo rules, or all the rules, and they seem very good, so I'm definitely looking forward to trying them out. And somewhere in this rustic fantasy world, our failed lich, evil, insane wraith thing will be the big bad. So we will discover how that goes when it happens. So that was the stream. That was Lichdom. I hope you enjoyed it. It would have been nice if we actually got a lich by the end of it, but I suppose you can't win everything. Yeah, that's it. So next stream will be tomorrow. Something else Saturday, in which I'll be continuing Disco Elysium, or rather starting Disco Elysium again, because my character had a mental breakdown after an hour and a half and quit his job to live under a bridge, which is very relatable sometimes. And then on Monday we'll be continuing Morkin. It might be the last session of Morkin because well, we nearly died this week and we've not recovered much, but we'll see how that goes. So thank you for watching the stream. See you next time.